Hey guys, how you doing? Julio here. Today I'd like to do a review on a recent video I watched about people talking about Jiu-jitsu and that it's not effective. Right, let's get down to it. Okay, yep, let's start it.
Today I'm entering a Brazilian Jiu-jitsu tournament to prove that it doesn't work. Just prove my point. They say 90% of fights end up on the ground. But 100% start standing up, and that...
Yeah, that's maybe the first point, because Jiu-jitsu people say that all fights go to the ground, and yeah, let's skip watching them when they stand it. Yeah, but as he's gonna say now.
That's where we want the fight to end. Because this is the last place you want to be in a street fight. Yet there's a whole martial art dedicated to this worst case scenario.
Right, because yeah, as we watch now, so you got to start the fight standing. So yeah.
That's like my karate class practicing how to get knocked out. Just makes no sense. I think Brazilian Jiu-jitsu only works if you play along with it. And
That's a good point, because even starting from the MMA, I think it's Rickson Gracie, right? He only won because he's playing in with Jiu-jitsu rules. So basically, he took people to the ground, and since he's the best, I mean, Jiu-jitsu people the best at fighting on the ground, because they're gonna win in their terms. So
to prove my point, I'm gonna enter a tournament on the street and simply stand up.
That makes sense.
I gotta practice. Okay, turns out standing up is much harder than I thought. Especially when somebody wants to hold you down. I want a new opponent. My next opponent is just a brown belt. But he immediately chokes me out. They call this an Ezekiel choke. And now that I know how it works, I can easily avoid it. My last opponent is a black belt.
right.
Luckily, I'm both younger and stronger. But every time I try to stand up, it ends the same way. This is not what I had in mind.
Yeah, so basically that's what happens. So if a person that has a fighting style where you're standing, you try to go to the ground. The Jiu-jitsu people, that's what's not going to happen, because they the best at choking and using the arm locks. Yeah, let's keep watching.
That's when my brother Oliver appears.
Not as easy as you thought, huh?
As a professional fighter, he knows what works and what doesn't.
Put this on and meet me upstairs tomorrow. And don't forget what belt you are in BJJ.
And he's got a plan.
Crash course in standing up. You smash me from top. Every second I spend here is a second I get more tired while you get more rest. So I need to relieve this pressure. I'm gonna wiggle this arm in here, and this arm is gonna go in here. Now I have a frame, but I can't push you from here, so I'm gonna use my strongest muscles, and I'm gonna make a bridge. Ooh. Now we have a few options. This direction, this direction, this direction, and that direction. You have to feel where your opponent is heavy. So don't move against the resistance, but use the easiest path available. Stay on the move all the time. If you're on top, you can rest. But if you're underneath, you need to work.
And better start training.
Right. Since we saw how he practiced, let's see he actually working. Fighting. Let's see what happens.
That's when they suddenly announce my name.
Okay, let's see.
It's finally time to see if Brazilian Jiu-jitsu works.
Let's see if Jiu-jitsu works.
Play along.
See, that's his point here. So he only works when he follow the rules, because from what I've seen in many videos, not only Jiu-jitsu against a karate guy, but against other fighting styles. So Jiu-jitsu say that Jiu-jitsu is superior, but they're playing with their rules. So let's see how it works now.
When the fight fight starts, my opponent immediately tries to grab my sleeves. All I want to do is push his hands away. That's when he does something I never imagined. He just lies down and tries to pull me on top of him. But of course, it doesn't work, because I just stand up. Now, my opponent grabs my lapel, so I try to strip his wrist off with both hands. But his grip is too good. That's when he tries to pull me down again. But I just pop back up and move away. I can sense that my opponent is getting frustrated because I refuse to go down to the ground with him.
That's the point. So the only thing that Jiu-Jitsu people want to do is take it to the ground because they're good at it. So if you don't, of course, if you don't play along, they can't do anything. That's what's happening here, clearly.
That's when he tries a new tactic. He goes for a foot sweep. I decide to return the favor, but it fails. But luckily, he just lies down anyway. This is when I realized that all my training has made me overqualified for this tournament, because I'm never ending up on the ground. That's when the referee suddenly stops the action. Apparently, I've broken some kind of rule. He tells me that I'm not allowed to disengage, and if I don't start grappling, I'm gonna get disqualified.
That's the point here. So something important I wanted to point out. So Jiu-Jitsu is working when you pull to the ground, and also works when you follow the rules, which means you have to engage and grip the gi and fight in Jiu-Jitsu rules, which means that it's going to work only for competition, because clearly if someone's going to fight Oliver, oh my goodness. Not Oliver. What is his name? Oh my goodness. Jesse. Sorry. Someone's gonna fight him. He's a karate guy, so he's gonna punch and kick. So it's not just gonna be wait to be pulled to the ground. So that's just ridiculous. That's one point I don't understand about Jiu-Jitsu people. So they think that people are gonna wait till they get pulled to the ground and so they can be submitted. Not gonna happen in a real fight. At least not in a real fight. So it can be said that Jiu-Jitsu is good for competition, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily good for everyday situation.
And now, my opponent refuses to even stand up. I doubt this is what the ancient samurai warriors had in mind when they invented Jiu-Jitsu. Because it was supposed to be used as a last resort when your weapons fail, and the last place you want to go on the battlefield is the ground. But something changed when the art spread to Brazil. It became a sport, and the essence was lost. This is the exact same thing that happened to karate. Today, you can even become an Olympic champion by getting knocked out. So now, I am left with no other choice but to finish the fight. It's time to put the martial back in martial arts. This was not part of the plan, so I have to find a way to win. Luckily, my opponent gives me his leg, so I try to break it. But the referee tells me I'm not allowed to do that.
Again, so you gotta fight a Jiu-Jitsu guy, but it has to be totally according to their rules. So you can't do anything other than that. So of course, it's not fair. By fighting totally in Jiu-Jitsu rules, of course, you're just gonna be superior.
So I have to let go. I'm trying my best to avoid my opponent's attacks, but I'm afraid that if I'm too passive, I will get disqualified. So I'm left with no other choice but to go down to the ground. And luckily, I know exactly what to do from here.
Oh yeah, so see, the Jiu-Jitsu guy lost. He got choked by a guy who never did Jiu-Jitsu. Of course, he's a martial artist.
Just like that, I proved my point.
Well, we just watched the video. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Jiu-Jitsu is really a superior martial art? It's better than any other martial arts? As we can see here, it can be good. It has its place. It can be the best if you can take your opponent down and choke him or use some arm lock. But otherwise, if your opponent doesn't follow Jiu-Jitsu rules, maybe you lost. For instance, if you compare it to other martial arts, like if a Jiu-Jitsu guy fights me, I'm a judoka. Standing probably doesn't have many chances unless it's a very good if he's good at throwing techniques. Otherwise, you have a difficult time. And I think that if I'm using judo rules, of course, I'm going to win, or I have a much better advantage rather than trying to follow all jiu-jitsu rules. And that's what I've seen. So they fight with jiu-jitsu rules, win, and say they're the best. So it's a very unfair comparison. And we could see here. So what are your thoughts? Do you think it really jiu-jitsu is superior? Is a better martial art? Or as you can see here, it has its place, which would be the best way to see it. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit like. Please consider subscribing my channel, and please support this channel by sharing this video with other people. You can support this channel by supporting me on Patreon. You can also support me on PayPal. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.